in the House, Ms. McCarthy, and I yield her as much time as she may consume.
The gentlelady from New York is recognized for as much time as she may consume.
I thank you, Mr. Tanyas, for yielding. I want to thank for your leadership on these issues, and I appreciate the time. I'd like to thank my good friend, Congressman Dingell, for all the hard work in putting and bringing this bill to the floor. Without his help, we would not be debating this bill today. I also like to thank Mr. Boucher, original co-sponsor, and I also would like to say thank you for Mr. Lamar Smith for working with us. The National Instant Criminal Background Check System, or NICS, is deeply flawed. Millions of criminals' records are not accessible by NICS, and millions others are missing critical data, such as arrest dispositions, due to data backlogs. The primary cause of delay in NICS background checks is the lack of updates due to funding and technology issues in the states. Many states have not automated the records concerning mental illness, restraining orders, or misdemeanor convictions for domestic violence. Simply put, the NICS system must be updated on both the state and the federal level. On March 12th, the year 2002, a senseless shooting took the lives of a priest and a parishioner, Mrs. Tozer, at the Our Lady of Peace Church in Lynbrook, New York. That is part of my district. This shooting brought attention to the need to improve information sharing, that it would enable federal and state enforcement agencies to conduct a complete background check on a potential firearm purchaser. The man who committed this double murder had a prior disqualifying mental health commitment and a restraining order against him, but passed a Brady background check because NICS did not have the necessary information to determine that he was ineligible to purchase a firearm under federal or state law. This same scenario happens every day. The shooter in the Virginia Tech massacre was prohibited from purchasing a firearm. Unfortunately, flaws in the NICS system allowed his record to slip through the cracks. He was able to purchase 2 handguns and use them to brutally murder 32 individuals. Today, Congress will stand up for the victims and pass common sense legislation. According to a Third Way report, over 91% of those adjudicated for mental illness cannot be stopped by a background check due to the flaws in the system. But this issue allows other barred individuals to purchase firearms. 25% of felon convictions do not make it into the NICS system. That is why I introduced the NICS Improvement Act with Mr. Dingell. My bill will require all states to provide the NICS system with the relevant records needed to conduct effective background checks. It's the state's responsibility to ensure this information is current and accurate. They must update the records to ensure violent criminals do not have the right to own firearms. However, I recognize many state budgets are already overburdened. This legislation would provide grants to states to update their records into the NICS system. States would get the funds they need to make sure records relevant to the NICS are up to date. While the NICS system does have major flaws, it is responsible for preventing thousands of ardent individuals from purchasing firearms. Approximately 916,000 individuals have been prohibited from purchasing a firearm for failing a background check between November 30th, 1998, when the NICS system began operating, and December 31st of 2004. During this same period, nearly 49 million Brady background checks were processed through the NICS system. By improving upon the system, we can stop criminals from falling through between the cracks. Today, we are one step closer to bringing the records of millions of barred individuals into the NICS system. No system will be perfect, but that does not mean we should not make improvements to make it better. This is good policy that will save lives and should be passed by the House. My legislation imposes no new restrictions on gun owners and does not infringe on the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. I also would like to thank Bob Durick on my staff and Josh from Mr. Dingell's staff for the tireless hours that they put in to have this bill brought to the floor. This policy crosses party lines, and I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 2640. I think the most important thing that we must all remember, we have an opportunity to save lives. That is why I came to Congress. This has been a long, long journey for me. But it's working with people that, even though I disagree with at times, on bringing this together to make sure that more citizens are safer today than they were yesterday. This is a good bill. I urge my colleagues to support. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady yields.